got Christian.
He's pushed them out, he's bombed them out, and now he's moving in
Four
all the
of the
Shias.
5 generals.
He's moving in all the
Four
Shias.
of the 5 generals in the SSA.
Why can't you say it was right to stop the Nazis?
Because you're trying to trap me into something that you're trying to prove.
Okay, so I just stumbled across a Stop the War Coalition protest against British intervention in Syria. I thought it would be really interesting to ask the protesters to explain what's going on in Syria. Seems like a sensible question if you're protesting against intervention there, 400,000 plus people killed. The least you can do is research what's actually going on before protesting against intervention. So I don't know if the intervention is the right or wrong thing to do, but these people should have some answers.
Bomb Syria! Bomb Syria! Bomb Syria!
Can I ask why you're here today?
Why? Well, I'm here
Yeah.
because I don't want our government bombing Syria.
What's happening in Syria at the moment?
For a long time, Assad has basically been an atrocious leader and done horrible things to the people in his country. And I understand that's partly, I don't know, I've been reading it earlier, it's something to do with he's looking to use Chinese yen to sell the oil to China, directly to the Chinese, and that's perhaps why the Americans decided to bomb him and we're jumping on that bandwagon. But I mean, I don't know what I read, so...
What other groups are fighting in Syria at the moment, other than Assad?
I don't know, you got me there.
Can I ask why you're here today?
Hey?
Can I ask why you're here today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Why are you here?
Just to do something, to say something. That's what I
More
do.
bombs will not bring peace.
Exactly.
And so, what will bring peace?
More peace.
No, but that's not really. I mean, 400,000 people have been killed. What will bring peace?
Diplomacy, perhaps. More people to think peacefully.
But, okay, but between who needs to talk?
Sorry?
Which groups in Syria need to talk?
I'm not sure about that. I'm just thinking that it's wrong what they're doing there.
Do you know any of the groups in Syria?
Do you know any of the groups of Syria?
I do. I know all about
He knows everything about it.
I don't know who this is. It's
Hi, can I ask why you're here today?
Still not okay with this. I don't know what else to say, but
You're not okay with
any of this, man.
Okay.
How is it going to help? Like,
I mean, I guess people are saying that 500,000 people have been killed in Syria, and this could be one way of ending the violence.
so in order to stop more people being killed in Syria, we're going to send these really clever special airstrikes that definitely don't kill any more innocent people.
Yeah.
How do you make that fucking airstrike not kill more innocent people?
So who's fighting in Syria at the moment?
Fuck knows, mate. The whole thing's a cluster.
Do you know
Can I
any
say
of the groups?
clusterfuck?
Yeah, you can.
The whole thing's a
Just go on
clusterfuck.
Facebook. Do you know any of the groups, the names of the groups that are fighting there?
I know words, man. I watch Homeland.
Awesome, thank you.
You want to know why we're here?
Oh.
Moral support, isn't it?
Moral support. Say for you, moral support.
What did you say, sorry?
You said moral support.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Moral support of who?
Me.
No, who are you giving moral support to?
Hang on, are you filming or just taking a photo?
Filming, it's filming.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm here because saving the NHS is more important than bombing Syria.
And what's happening in Syria at the moment?
I want to protest against the war. I don't know why the government allowed to last conflict for 7 years or something more.
So who's fighting in Syria at the moment?
It's a regime. They fight. They start the conflict against the regime.
Who are some of the groups that are fighting the regime?
Who was?
Who are? What are the names of some of the groups that are fighting the regime?
What's the names? They are Syrians.
Syrians, okay.
Yes, they fight. This is basically a civil war.
So something absolutely crazy has just happened. I bumped into one of the speakers of the protest. He's a leader within the Bristol community. He's an elected council member of the Green Party. and he was speaking against British intervention in Syria. So I asked him to explain what's going on in Syria, and his ignorance will blow your mind. The guy was absolutely ignorant to the conflict. I mean, like uncharted ignorance. But like, we went on to other subjects. Unfortunately, my battery died. It's just filmed on a phone. I didn't expect to actually be here today. And his ignorance was insane. We got speaking about Hezbollah, who are a terror organisation that are actually active and fighting in Syria. I asked him who Hezbollah were, and he said, oh, they're the government of the Palestinians. Like, no, they're not. Hezbollah are a terror organisation from Lebanon, which borders Israel. They're fighting in Syria. They're not the Palestinians. They're completely different people. Can I ask why you're here?
Yeah, well, I was invited to speak at the demonstration, and it's a really important issue. We're throwing missiles at another country for no particular reason, and it's costing £1 million, and it's not going to improve things. It's not resolving any problems, and it doesn't particularly stand for anything legal or any solution.
And what are the problems in Syria?
Well, I can't hope to explain them, to be honest.
Could you tell us some of the groups that are fighting there?
There are, as far as I can understand it, there are all manner of different groups. Some backed by other people, some proxy for, you know, the so-called great powers. And
could you name some of the ones that are proxies for the great powers?
Well, I don't think I even could. I mean, genuinely, I don't think I even could.
But you said that there was some fight as proxies for great powers, so surely you must have some evidence for that.
No, in fact, in my talk, I said I don't know what to believe anymore, because I hear positive things and negative things from different people I read who are completely diametrically, opposed. Because in the name of the so-called, UK government, the minority government, hundreds of millions of pounds of missiles are being mobilised and bombed on a country where there isn't a popular mandate. The government hasn't got a parliamentary mandate, and actually we know there is no strategy.
So for you, it's about saving money.
No. I'm saying that these massive decisions are being made by one or two people in a closed room that are killing people.
Do you know what Tahrir al-Sham means? Tahrir al-Sham, do you know what it means?
No, I don't.
Jabhat al-Nusra? Jabhat al-Nusra?
No.
How about Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi?
I've heard a number of these, but that doesn't mean I understand. Because I don't know what to believe anymore.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is the leader of Daesh. Do you know Daesh?
I've heard of it.
ISIS.
Yeah, I know.
Jabhat Nusra is now called Tahrir al-Sham. That's one of the biggest terrorist groups in Syria.
Right.
I've just thrown at you some of the most important words or groups in this conflict, and you had no idea who they were or what they meant.
Yeah, I didn't claim to know them.
But surely you should do this sort of research before campaigning against intervention.
These
so
groups.
the intervention is against the conflict.
Seriously, who said the bombing or the missiles were actually an intervention?
So who are they
anyone
intervention
in
against?
That weren't they against the leader of that state?
So who's
allegedly?
the leader of that state? You're a Green councillor, Green Party councillor, is
yes,
that right?
I am, yes.
And you don't even know the leader of the Syrian regime, and you're protesting against the intervention there.
Wait a minute. Bashar al-Assad, I do know their name. But local government has no foreign policy, but local government is being ripped apart by
I'm Jewish. My family was slaughtered in the Holocaust.
So were mine.
And people like you
so were mine.
campaigned against...
I'm from an entirely Jewish refugee family,
like
actually.
Can
I say that? You've just implied I wasn't.
No, I didn't imply you weren't. I said I'm Jewish and I lost family in the Holocaust.
So did I.
While peace activists in the UK were campaigning against the intervention against the Nazis. And so I'm saying
actually, apologists on the right were also...
I'm saying there's nothing wrong with campaigning against intervention.
the Daily Mail was campaigning against...
I'm saying there's nothing
Henry
wrong
Ford was campaigning against intervention.
I'm saying there's nothing...
was on the right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's nothing wrong with campaigning against... But I'm saying the least you can do is research who the leader of the Syrian people is before speaking to a protest with thousands of people as an official representative of the Green Party.
Well, wait a minute. On what basis shouldn't I have a view on this?
Because you haven't done the research. You don't even know who the terror organisations there are. Do you know which terror groups the regime is allied with?
A number, allegedly.
Can you name one of them?
Yeah, Iran, allegedly.
No, that's not a terror group, that's a country.
Yes,
Can you name...
Sorry, you said who's that allied with?
I said any of the terror groups that the regime is allied with.
And why What does that difference
Because
does that make when
you're
in the
protesting
name of the government of this country, a random intervention is being made on the other side of the world? The first thing about conflict is that there's destruction going on. That's actually the primary
sometimes to end
evidence of a
destruction
conflict.
you need force, yes?
Sometimes.
The Nazis, to end the Nazis, the force was required, yeah? As a Jewish man, you'd agree that force was required against the
Does
Nazi
my religion
party.
have anything to do with ending the Nazis?
Because your people suffered, my people suffered, our people suffered against the
Okay.
Nazi.
I
6
saw a
million.
video the other day that suggested I'm a brother with everyone Jewish, actually, and I wasn't 100% sure about that, because in the name of Judaism, some people are doing some quite atrocious things as well.
Like what?
Like in Palestine.
So what's happening in Palestine?
A number of things. Again, I don't know all. that
So
I should
maybe if
believe.
you don't know what you're talking about, you should research before making stupid statements.
What was stupid about saying I don't want destruction?
No, you said that there's
Seriously, what
horrible
was-
things that Jews are doing to Palestinians.
There are allegations of what's going
Like
on.
what?
Oh, well, shooting youngsters, you know.
Shooting youngsters?
Yeah,
Which youngsters?
allegedly using chemical weapons.
So which chemical weapons has Israel used?
I said allegedly.
No, which chemical weapons?
I
And when?
haven't gone and picked them up.
And when?
But do
When?
you know for certain that none of you
Well, I
knows
know
the minority government of this country has decided to throw weapons at something in another country, and I don't want that done in my name.
But you
That
just
is
said
the
in
consistent
some
position I've
instances
had.
it's justified. Like against the Nazis, it was justified.
You asked me to say that.
Oh, you don't
wanted-
agree it was justified against
No,
the
I'm
Nazis?
saying you wanted me to say that.
Yeah, I know I
so
did.
that you could turn it around to say I therefore shouldn't want to or should want to. Why do you want to twist what I say?
So you're saying that you didn't support military intervention against the Nazis?
Is that double negative meant to expose something on your side
Can you
or
just
mine?
speak straight and just give an answer?
But you aren't. You're using
okay,
double
I
negatives.
categorically, I supported military intervention against the Nazi party. Did you, or do you?
But I came here to talk about some weapons that were fired this weekend.
You can tell you're in politics. You refuse to answer a question.
No, but no. Look, like relatives of mine died in the Holocaust.
Okay, so why can't you say it was right to stop the Nazis?
Because you're trying to trap me into something that you're trying to prove, and I don't actually know what you're trying to prove, other than the fact that if they were bad, then one particular target at the moment, we're not sure whether you're talking about ISIS or Assad
Should
or
I tell you explicitly
who.
what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
know which target you think
I'll
is
tell-
bad
I'll
and is
tell you
good.
explicitly what I'm saying. I'm
No,
saying
I'm glad you're gonna be-
if military intervention can be required sometimes, in some instances,
Then it's always okay?
No.
Oh,
Then
good,
the
good, I'm
least
glad
you can do when taking part of a protest against military intervention, where 400,000 people have been slaughtered, or possibly 500,000,
A million have been displaced, yeah.
The least you can do is research who are the fighting factions there.
Why? The government didn't do that. The
Of course
government.
they did. You did.
No, the government's
Theresa
not
May knows
targeted.
who Jabhat al-Nusra is.
She may get briefed. She's got experts briefing her, but does that help her make a sensible decision about throwing weapons at an alleged chemical incident that has yet to be investigated?
The situation in Syria is complicated.
Tim!
Bomb Syria!
And that's what the flag you're flying is?
That's the Syrian flag.
It's the Syrian flag.
Flag of the real Syrian flag, as opposed to that one over there, which is the terrorist flag.
What's the difference between the two?
Well, that's the flag of the Free Syrian Army, which is basically terrorists hired by the American, well, not hired, but they're proxy terrorists by Western powers.
And who's this the flag of?
This is just the Syrian flag of Assad, not Assad, but Syria.
And so, are you here supporting Assad?
Yes.
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 And what about those people that say Assad has killed hundreds of thousands of people?
What, such as the BBC?
Yeah, organisations like the BBC.
Well, of course people died because they're in this is the civil war, people are going to die, but he hasn't purposely set out to kill his own people because that'd just be stupid. Because otherwise he wouldn't have the support of his own people if he was doing that.
So who are the other factions that are fighting in Syria?
Well, there's various, but the Free Syrian Army is the main one, I suppose.
Who else?
Well, it's ISIS really, I suppose.
And any other groups out there fighting?
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but... Sorry? Yeah, that's like one of the main ones, isn't it? Yeah.
Who are Jabhat al-Nusra now? What's their name?
Well, they assume something different.
Yeah. They're now called Tariq al-Sham. I'm just trying to understand because it's an infinitely complex problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And are you guys here campaigning for no military intervention there?
I'm not with his...
Oh, you're not with him?
No.
And so you're opposing sides?
We agree on some things, such as the Free Palestine.
Of course, yeah, Free Palestine, yeah. That's about as far as the middle ground goes.
You just said 400,000 people. 400,000 people have been slaughtered in Syria, and you're there waving an Assad flag.
Yeah.
And
oh,
smiling.
it's only the government killing. Is it the only
government? No, it's Daesh.
They're defending secularism. They're defending secularism. They are defending secularism. You cannot. There is no. I repeat, right? Why is there only Wahhabi and jihadists on the opposing forces? Why, when you go home tonight, will you not find
ISIS fighters? Assad let them all go.
As a peace thing, are you aware of the second day of the peaceful protest? 11 police got shot dead, unarmed police.
Are you aware of the peaceful protest that Assad soldiers shot kids and tortured them?
That's bollocks.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I know the family. I know the brother. I know the brother of one of the kids, mate. You know nothing.
Where?
Dara. He's from Dara.
I know nothing. I used to run the PR for the Kuwait embassy.
I know real since he lived there.
Right,
the
PR
part of
for the
Assad's
Kuwait
jail.
embassy.
Are you saying they're liars?
Yes, I am.
Oh well, good for you, mate. Good for
I'm just saying you're supporting sectarianism.
No, I'm supporting real Syrians.
You're supporting sectarianism that will wipe you, turn your women into bloody sex slaves and enslave them.
No.
You totally have no idea what you're talking about.
You're racial stereotyping there. That's a racial stereotype.
What is?
Against Muslims.
No, I'm talking about Wahhabis.
Which groups are Wahhabi in Syria?
What?
Which groups are Wahhabi in Syria?
The Salafists and the Wahhabis.
Which are the groups?
On the opposing the Syrian people.
No, but what are the names of the groups that are Wahhabi?
Al-Nusra, Jaish al-Islam, right? FSA.
The FSA
Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda. They've changed their name now. Are you aware that Wahhabism was set up by the English 100 years ago?
It was made up by the English.
No, it wasn't made up by it was encouraged to divide the Ummah between the Sunni and the Shia 100 years ago.
How many people have died in Syria?
I would say about 400,000.
500,000 are counting.
And
no one has got a true number.
What can we do to minimise those fatalities?
It's simple. Do you support secularism or do you support sectarianism?
Punish Assad for his war.
Right, so you're saying Assad promotes secularism?
Of course he does. No, because in the SAA, 70% are Sunni, right? You've got Christian.
He's bombed them out and now he's moving in
all
the
of the 5 generals.
He's moving in all the
Four of the 5 generals in the SSA are Sunni.
Assad is never
you
even
can check that up.
Assad inherited it from his dad.
Look up Timber Sycamore, right? And it will show you how the British, American, Saudi and UK government were arming, right, people 2 years before this so-called, now the CIA-backed revolution. It wasn't a revolution, it was planned, just like the Ukraine, just like Libya. Look at the state of Libya now, look at the state of Iran.
Who planned it?
Who?
Yeah, who orchestrated?
I would say the government, the deep state. I would say the people.
Which government?
Alex Jones told him that, mind. Alex Jones told him that.
Alex Jones didn't tell me that.
Alex Jones, his name Alex Jones.
Which government?
Which government?
Yeah.
Well, the Saudis are the biggest backer.
The Alex Jones government.
Right? Now remember, in Saudi Arabia, you're not allowed a church, right? You're not allowed even to hand out Bibles or speak publicly Christianity.
So if you like this video, and you want to see more like it, well, not more like, there's lots of protest videos, subscribe to the Israel Advocacy Movement on YouTube and like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And yeah, this has got nothing to do with Israel, despite the fact you saw Palestinian flags everywhere. It's just a chance protest I happened to film. So, hope you enjoyed it.